All right, everyone, time for another vengeful Hillary Clinton story. It's amazing how often I have to talk about her because she is an interesting woman, if malevolent and insane at this point, and possibly slightly demented and sickly. But apparently, when this is a claim that's being made in someone's book, link in the description. Apparently, the claim is this, that people close to Clinton, and again, we don't have names necessarily, so take it with a grain of salt. They claim that Hillary Clinton, when she first heard the news that James Comey had been fired by Trump, she was actually ecstatic, in their words. She was really happy about the fact that Trump had taken this action and was, glowingly in approval of it. And the only reason she didn't applaud it publicly was for, optics reasons, because, here you've got a Republican president, someone who just, destroyed her politically. So obviously she and her people felt it was a bad idea to come out and say, oh, well, we're glad that evil James Comey is gone. But then she was actually happy about it. Also, I'm trying to think, why do you need your staffers to tell you it wasn't a good idea to come out and publicly say that? Yeah, I'm trying to think of a surreal moment where Hillary Clinton stumbles, tipsily on stage and says, oh yeah, I think our president's definitely gone up a few notches in my book. I've said basically his fans are deplorable Nazis, he's a racist and sexist and horrible person who's going to destroy the country, but yeah, I approve of him now because he fired a dude who inconvenienced me politically. And it was obvious Comey was going to be on the chopping block anyway. The investigation into the Clinton email server was totally botched. Everybody fucking knows that. She broke federal laws and various federal guidelines in the bureaucratic sense. We know that. Comey fucking told us all that. She just didn't end up getting prosecuted. Which is like the first time that the FBI has done something like that. Normally that has nothing to do with the litmus test. Normally was there wrongdoing or was there not wrongdoing? But Comey applied a totally new rule that's technically extra legal and should never have been made as a decision, which was, are we going to be able to prosecute this person? So basically, if the person is a big enough mafioso, the FBI will no longer bother to prosecute them. They're too weak to do that. There are people with more power than the FBI, I guess, as far as that goes. Noting that they seem to be Democrats usually. Still waiting for Loretta Lynch to be asked about her tarmac meeting. Or her apparent meeting with Comey. Her apparent leaning on him not to prosecute and telling him what to do. It's very funny. I'm trying to think of the fucking director of the FBI having to deal with the fact that a crazed AG, having talked to the Clintons apparently, decided to warn him off. I'm thinking about how funny it would be if he had made a speech and said, yeah, we're prosecuting because, she broke the law. He should have just gone rogue. That would have been better. But I can imagine, I do believe the story, because it's plausible. If you think about Hillary Clinton's personality, she supposedly had literally a book of people that were on her shit list, a literal shit list of people within the Democratic Party she felt had wronged her, and she's, gets drunk apparently and irate and attacks people at times, so again, allegedly. If election night is any indicator, her staff are saying, yeah, she couldn't come out on stage because she had one too many bottles. Podesta has to come out on stage instead and tell people basically go home and get a few hours of sleep and we'll announce in the morning. She wakes up looking extra exhausted and coated with several extra layers of fucking pancake makeup the next day. What do you think she was doing? But if you look at the personality we can infer that Hillary Clinton has, based on her public behavior alone, this would fit sort of the mold of what you would expect would be her her response to Comey being fired. Because here's someone who she feels has wronged her, denied her the election, even if it's the person, the other person who denied her the election, which is Trump, nailing them, she still probably found it infinitely funny. And Comey doesn't care either. Didn't he sign a $2 million book deal almost the same day? So he doesn't give a fuck. He's got plenty of money and, doesn't he do consulting and weird shit? And he has his fucking Twitter account where he posts cryptic images of, what was it, Mount Rushmore, or him looking up at redwood trees and weird shit like that with weird messages associated with him. He's sort of like the Q poster of the left, actually, at this point when you really think about it. He says off-the-wall things, cryptic, almost coded, and they sort of look up to him as a parental figure. That he fought for the resistance, and he may have fallen, but he has inspired a generation of rebels. Stupid, over-the-top, hyperbolic shit like that. Hillary Clinton, though, is a funny person. Because she is so vengeful. The negative side of Clinton, even though it's so malevolent and bitter and crazy at times, it is interesting political fodder. Yeah, nobody can say that she's boring. It's like when she went on her months-long apology tour right after losing the election, and it was like 2 or 3 times a week there, remember, for a couple of months. There was a new Hillary Clinton video to be made because she was blaming a new group each time for her loss. The pink hats, the hashtag resist people not coming out enough. The DNC was blamed. She blamed Bernie Sanders for not dropping out quick enough. She blamed Russia. I mean, all sorts of conspiracy theories. And each time they got wackier and wackier. Finally, she decided to shut up for a while and just do her book. And then Bill was out there and he was still dicking bimbos, I guess. And so he's been put back, in his dusty broom closet like a bad secret. She doesn't trot him out publicly as much anymore. You hear a lot more about Hillary than you do about Bill because Bill is no longer as charming. Now that he's geriatric and now that the Me Too thing has happened, Bill Clinton is basically totally fucking washed up. It's actually kind of pathetic when you really think about it because he used to be so suave and he could dodge anything and he was like really great speaker and really he liked to schmooze. He was sort of like maybe a more charming Joe Biden. And now he's just, a flaky old dude who has difficulty, stumbles over his words, and Hillary won't let him dick as many bimbos anymore. Probably they have to have a legal form to sign before they can suck Bill off in order to make sure they don't tell the tabloid, at least until the Clintons are dead. At least until Chelsea gets into the Senate or something. I think, didn't one time somebody ask Chelsea Clinton what she thought about her dad's indiscretions and she just walked off the interview? It's like, it is a fair question. How can you pretend you're so pro women's rights and your dad is, doing weird shit like that and you've never called him out? It is fair if you're getting into politics. You're going to be asked about that sort of stuff. That's about all. Peace out.